Ever since Dune Awakening expanded the safe zone of the deep desert into the E section, finding bases out here has been few and far between. However, I've recently stumbled upon a specific island inside of the deep desert that people are using to hide bases in, and they are doing it very well. These bases are incredibly tucked into some caverns and rocks. Just flying over these islands, you would never see these bases. And today we're gonna jump into a raid where we managed to find one of these hidden bases, and I'm gonna showcase a couple of ways that you guys can go about finding these things a little bit easier, in the sense of you're not gonna have to walk around every single nook and cranny of these islands. Let's go ahead and jump on into it here, because this is a bit of a weird one, and unfortunately I missed some clips at the very start. But let's start off with showcasing exactly where this hidden base is. And as you can see, it is incredibly tucked into a cave inside of this island. Not only is it inside of a pathway that cuts through the mountain, but it's also vertically above that pathway. So if you walk this pathway and don't look up, you won't even see this base. This one took me by complete surprise when we found it on stream yesterday. And even more surprisingly, this base was still up when I got online today. But there actually is something that you guys can do in order to find these bases just a little bit easier, and it involves the construction tool. If you pull out the construction tool and you have a sub-fief ready to go, and you happen to fly close enough to somebody else's base, that big yellow cube is going to pop up on your screen, obviously indicating that there's a base in that area. Unfortunately, you can't just fly 100 kilometers above the island and scout out if there's any bases. You do have to be kind of right up on these bases in order to see them. But like you can see here in the clip in the background, this guy's base that's tucked inside of the cavern is completely exposed when I have my construction tool out. It's not only the construction tool though, you could also use a respawn beacon, which is another piece of equipment that will show other players' sub-fief claims. So if you have your respawn beacon out, you can also see the claims here. And speaking of the respawn beacons, this is actually a really good way that you guys can peg a base down that you want to raid, and you don't have to hang in that area. You can go all the way to the other side of the deep desert and not have to worry about missing that raid should a storm come through. This is going to come at the cost of losing some durability on your gear. However, it will get you back to the raid before the storm hits it. So keep that in mind with these respawn beacons. Not only can it help you locate these cubes here, but also they might help you get back to a base, or at least peg one down that's maybe on the opposite side of the map that you typically search. Jumping back into the raid itself here, unfortunately, I missed some footage right in the very beginning because I wasn't anticipating anything happening. However, as we were making our way to the island, because a storm was surely coming soon, we happened to hear somebody riding around on a sand bike. You heard that correct. Somebody was on this island with a sand bike. We have the Ancient Way rocket launcher, so we managed to take him down with that. And, you know, he was just mining titanium with this sand bike. I was confused. I had no idea what this guy was doing. Unfortunately, I don't have the footage. All I can show you is the broken sand bike as we came back to loot him. But after he broke the sand bike, he jumped in an ornithopter and was trying to take a load of titanium from his base out of there. And again, we were able to actually knock him out of the sky with the Ancient Way. When it came to the base itself, there was only like an extra 50 or so titanium in there. We didn't walk out with the most loot out of this base. However, the main point of this video here is to point out that people are hiding these bases incredibly well. So if you're out there searching for bases, you are better off jumping out of your ornithopter, at least in these specific islands here that have this bowl shape to them, and giving it a good scan through, because I promise you people are tucking in little 2x1s all over the place. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have gotten into any raids this past week. We're typically running these live right here on YouTube as well as Twitch. I'll have a link to the Twitch down in the description if you're interested. But that's all that I wanted to break down inside of this video. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.